Screw everyone else, ignore everyone else who's saying anything, and just roll with what you want for yourself.
My dad and my wife are my biggest cheerleader. I want my dad to say, hey, I believed in my son when he was at his low, and now here I am, a proud father.
If you're trying to prove someone wrong who's hating on you, when you do it, you may not feel that satisfaction. If you shift that and change that energy to proving the people who support you and love you already, I think that's more fulfilling.
They had challenged us to go out over the next 2 hours and just go meet strangers. And I'm walking around and I start panicking. I'm like, I can't talk to people. And I went and sat in the car and I just started crying.
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm chilling.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're here. The reason that I wanted to have, this sit down conversation podcast with you is because out of everyone that I know, there's a few people that stand out to me as some of my close mentors, even close friends, family, people that I've learned networking from, people that I've learned business and I can soundboard off of, I can call for advice. You're one of those people. That's why I wanted to have this conversation with you. A bit background of you from what I know is that you're just an absolute legend at networking. And whenever I talk about like networking or, I work with, students or any young entrepreneurs, I always bring you up as an example. Like, here are some things that Bhavan does that I want to, that like you should be doing, things that I emulate as well. And the coolest example as I bring up is how many contacts you have in your phone. I know you told me you had like 4,000 or 5,000 contacts in your phone. And I do this exercise every time is pull out your phone, scroll all the way to the bottom of your contacts, and what's that number? And out of all the rooms that I've been in, I've done this talk in like at least maybe 8 or 9 different places, the highest number that I've heard is about 2,000. I have 3,500 and you had like 5,000 or 6,000 contacts, almost double of what I had on my phone. And that's so crazy, but you have a guy for everything. So like you, when I think about networking, I think about you. So I'm like super happy to sit down with you and chat about this kind of stuff. Your story is really interesting. You dropped out of college, and at that time, like I was really young, and I was even told like, "Oh, stay away from him. He's kind of a failure. He's not doing anything with his life." And now look at you, like you're one of my closest mentors and older brothers and friends that like I consider as successful in business and all that. Tell me like just an overview of, start to finish in a quick, few seconds, like how you ended up here.
Yeah. So. I was a college student. Actually, I was in high school. I just kind of realized that school was not for me. I was always the jokester, the class clown, most talkative. I was always in trouble, always in the principal's office. I was the goofball. I never really took school seriously, and I'm not saying that in a way to maybe put down anybody that is going to school. Just wasn't a route for me. So anyways, I share this all the time. When I was in college, I always ask people when I'm talking about my story, I say, when you go to community college, how many years do most people spend in community college?
Like 2 or 3 or 4?
2. Yeah. Average I hear is 2 to 3 before they transfer to a full-fledged university. And, man, I spent I think 9 years in community college, and I make jokes about it now, but I was registered as a student at let's count it out. I was a student at Orange Coast College, Cypress College, Cerritos College, Irvine Valley College, Saddleback College, Fullerton College, Santa Monica College. Did I say Golden West? I think I said Golden West.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Golden West College. I don't even know how many different schools I was a student at, and I was at University of Phoenix. And the thought process to me was, I was the guy, excuse me, I would get really excited about, oh my God, college, late night studying at, your local Borders or your Barnes and Nobles or your Starbucks or coffee shops or whatever. And I went to college because I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do. And I'd get excited about, certain classes that I was taking. Excuse me. I'd get excited about certain classes that I was taking. And I just realized that this is not aligning with what I want. I just see so many people that didn't graduate college, that dropped out of college, dropped out of high school, and they became more successful than the people that I know that graduated top of their class, Ivy League graduates. And so, yeah, dropped out of college. And man, I can tell you, after 9 years, I had 15 transferable units. Most people do that in one semester.
Yeah.
Maybe a semester and a half. It took me 9 years to generate 15 transferable units. So, and the only reason why I say that is my hope is that anything that I share from this is that my hope is that there's somebody out there that hears this and says, hey, maybe there is hope for me. I don't have to go to college if I don't want to. There's nothing wrong with you doing something that's against what everybody says, but there's also nothing wrong with you doing, let me rephrase. There's nothing wrong with you doing what you want to do. So if somebody's goal is to go to college and become a teacher or become a doctor or whatever, that's success to them. That's just not for me. So anyways, going back to your original point, yeah, I dropped out of college and man, I heard it all, from people close to me. I heard it from friends. I heard it from family. He's not going to be successful. He's, just a failure, goofball. And as much as we joke around about it, I know it, you brought a little joke or a little smile to your face when you said it, and I laugh about it too. The fact is, those things also for years shaped me. And I accepted that as a reality. I'm sure that's a different topic, but that's besides the point. So anyways, yeah, I dropped out, wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew that I was good at connecting with people. And I'm not saying it in an ego way. I think I get it from my dad, I love people. I love talking to people. I love hearing their stories, and I love being the person that says, hey, you need this. I know somebody that can help you with this. I don't know that. I just love hearing people's stories, hearing their journeys in life, hearing what they want to accomplish, what path they're on. So I tried to find something that would allow me to live out the things that I'm good at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you found that passion, you worked on it, you learned from your dad. I know you read a lot, and you've turned your passion of meeting people and networking and having a great group of friends and just, hearing people's stories, sharing your own story into your business. And that's so cool that you're able to find that passion, not only do it every day from morning to night, but also turn it into something that makes you money, that you're growing almost exponentially at this point. When I was in college, I would leave my night class. I had a class from 6 to 9 p.m. and I'd be sitting in the back of class super anxious because I didn't understand what was going on. College wasn't for me.
Yeah.
Professors, I knew I wanted to be extremely successful, and I saw my professors, and I went to public university. Their income is online, and I'm like, they're not even making any money of what I would want to make.
Yeah.
And I was like, why should I listen to this person? And maybe that's a bad way to think. You should always respect someone who's giving you knowledge. But at that moment in time, I was like, my professor's making $120,000 a year. I want to be doing that a month, right? Why should I listen to this person? They're just reading out of a textbook. And so that mixed with not paying attention, not understanding anything that was going on, I would be failing my classes. I would be super behind and just
me too.
But I would at the same time feel so anxious because I thought that was what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm supposed to be in college. I'm supposed to work on my resume and try to apply for a job.
Hold on real quick. And I hope it's okay that I interrupted you on that. Good. But that's because obviously we have very similar, we grew up together in a sense that I knew your family before you were even born. And I think being in an environment where that's what's ingrained, luckily my parents, weren't very forceful about me going to school. Yeah. All they wanted was to see me happy and successful. Yeah. But when everybody else around you is, you go to family get-togethers, you go hang out with friends, and the topic of conversation is, what grade they got, or this degree, or, this whatever, something school related, I would just sit there and I'm like, man, maybe I am a failure.
Yeah. Because that's just the normal. That's what the conversation, your identity is on, what path you're taking, what your work is and all that stuff. And for someone like both of us, that's not really how we shape our identities. But it does psychologically, when people talk down on it, it hurts, and it makes kind of shapes you, as you said, for who you are. So what I wanted to ask is, was there like a moment when you realized that like relationships and networking and meeting people is what's going to make you successful? Or is it something that came over time, or a slow realization? Or was there like a click moment where, hey, I just need to go meet as many people as possible?
I want to say it probably was something over time, because the first time I went to a networking event, I was 22, and I went with my dad. We went to a Chamber of Commerce event in the city of Whittier. And I'm 41, so this was, 19 years ago. And I remember sitting there, and I was scared to talk to people. And it wasn't that that's when it hit me where I need to network to meet people. Actually, that kind of shaped my mind a little differently, because I was here at this event and I'm like, man, I don't know how to talk to people. I'm afraid, like I was deathly afraid to go talk to strangers and network and talk about business with them and show them what I'm doing and learn what they're doing. And, I didn't know what to expect. So I actually started thinking, maybe this is not for me. I'm not destined for success. And then there was one time where I was at an event, and the person had it was like a little mastermind that we had gotten together in Irvine Spectrum, rented out some space at Dave & Buster's in one of the little rooms that they have over there. And this was, again, probably back 18, 19 years ago, something like that. And they had challenged us to go out over the next 2 hours and just go meet strangers, walking out and about. It was a business challenge, like, forcing people to go out and network, learn how to talk to people, but not just learn from something that we've read in a book or heard someone else talk about, but actually get out there, get out of our comfort zone and talk to people. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm super excited about it. And I'm walking around and I start panicking. I'm like, I can't talk to people. And I went and sat in the car and I just started crying. I was like devastated. Nobody wants to talk to me. Well, I wasn't talking to people, right? And I'm like, nobody wants to talk to me. I was like genuinely hit a low point. And I remember talking to my dad once I kind of vented, and then I went back and I said, all right, I'm just figure this out. I'll just go hang out with my dad. And I saw how he started talking to people, and it was so easy for him. And the way people just were drawn to him was what kind of got me thinking that I need to figure this networking thing out. This is really the way for me to become successful. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes 100%. Sense, but it's just where my mind went in that moment.
Yeah, and that right there just goes to show that it's not always an inherent skill that someone's born with. It's something that can be trained and something that can be practiced and something that, people start from zero and can become an extreme professional networker, right?
But how I look at it, and when I talk to people about networking, like in my B&I chapter, I do the education moment every week. And when I talk about networking to people, I really relate it to just go make a friend.
Yeah.
At some point, I was in school, I didn't know anybody, and I made some friends. I wasn't necessarily scared. I made friends. I was forced in an environment where you're going to talk to people. And that's just kind of networking to me. I just go out and make friends. I'm not going out with some hidden agenda to sell or to do this. No, yes, I want to build my business. Don't get me wrong. But I'm genuinely going out there just saying, how can I meet new people today? How can I be a blessing in somebody's life, whether it's through something that I may have to offer, or maybe they need something and I have, a contact that can help them achieve whatever they want to achieve. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. I think like when you're talking about like how you connect with people, it's you focus a lot on giving, and you focus so much on like how can I help. And I think that's like the best way to not only make a friend, but also to have a potential business relationship in the future. One of the big mistakes that I've made in the past is when I'm meeting people, when I'm networking, I'm only thinking about what's in it for me.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of losing relationships, losing friendships to realize like, wait, I'm going about this wrong. I'm thinking about this too selfishly.
Yeah.
I would love to hear like what mistakes you've made while networking, and also like how do you balance like am I bringing up my business? Am I like when do I bring up my pitch, or how do you bring that into conversation?
Well, I guess that's kind of a tricky question to answer, because you also, if I'm bringing up my business and my pitch, I'm also gauging it based off of that conversation in the moment, right? You said something. You said that one mistake you made is you were always like, what's in it for me? And one thing I learned early on, and I still hear it to this day, is everybody's tuned into their own radio station, which is WIIFM, what's in it for me?
Yeah.
And so when I'm out networking, I'm always asking about somebody else. I met a couple people today, met a couple people yesterday. I don't really talk about me. I'm like, talk about, hey, what do you do? Oh, you're in real estate, man. What took you into real estate? What brought you into, like, why did you go into real estate? Why did you go into insurance? Why did you do, what's your background? People love talking about themselves. You just pointed that out, that the mistake you made was you were talking about what's in it for me. That's what everybody else is asking themselves. Like, that's how everybody is. So I'm taking that because I was the same way, where I was just like, what can I get out of this? What can I get out of this? I want to talk about me. So I'm like, well, if I want to talk about me and other people want to talk about themselves, I should just let them talk about themselves, because they'll open up to me about any and everything. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but to your other point, you had mentioned something. I think I got off track. Oh, so when I'm talking to people, it's interesting because most people tend to try to be impressive to other people. Like, how can I impress this person? Right? And I was that way too. I would talk about some big game, like I'm this whatever, right? Like, how can I need to be impressive to this person. And I learned this early on. Someone had said to me, they said, don't be interesting, be interested. So I went from being interesting, like trying to be that interesting person, to genuinely being interested in other people. Does that make, you get what I'm saying?
100%.
And so when I did that, people were more drawn to me. People were saying, oh, you got to go meet this guy. You got to talk to this guy. Because I was just genuinely interested in them, what they do, how can I help them, and guiding them to, whatever resource I may have.
Yeah.
Right?
I want to go back real quick. Something that I deal with, I know 100% for a fact that you've dealt with, is that self-doubt that comes from maybe failure, but it also comes from what other people are saying. It takes a lot of grit and like just pure brute force to get out of that hole. What, talk to me about how it affected you and what you went through and how you got out of it, and maybe does it still affect you today?
Yeah, I honestly think if I was to sit here and say it doesn't still affect me to this day, that would be a lie. 'Cause sometimes the old thoughts still creep up when things don't go the way that you had intended or expected, or, maybe, everything looked like it was going in the right direction, and all of a sudden, this person turned their back on you, this person went out, whatever the case is, everything just kind of fell apart. How I deal with it, there's a lot of different ways. I feel like this would be just another topic on its own for another podcast, but I don't know. There's a lot of different things, because when it would affect me, I would get very low and very like I just would kind of just want to keep to myself, don't want to go out. It's just this downward cycle, right? Like someone says you're a certain way, you're a failure, you're a loser, you're not this, you're not good enough, this and whatever the case is. And the way that helped me overcome being in like a very low mindset is, my God, dude, I don't even know how to answer. That's such a long, because I answered these questions with examples. I just started to realize that once I kind of vented and I'd vent about whatever somebody said about me or whatever I was feeling. Once you vent, you kind of get it off your chest, right? And you start to calm down. And I just started thinking, what am I really angry at? Am I angry about what that person said about me? Or am I angry because I actually believe what they said about me? And so that helped me start changing the story that I tell myself. And I started to realize, this is what helped. One of the things that helped me, I'll never forget this. I was at a low point, and I hope this analogy or this example or story makes sense as to what I'm saying. And I'm not saying this to boast about me in any way. Like, I'm just saying this is what helped me shape my mind differently. And I still think about this to this day. Do you remember in college, you would always see at like different parties, especially Indian parties, they'd have the blood drive set up, like come donate for somebody that has leukemia or bone marrow or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So one night I was at a party, and I hope it's okay that I'm saying this, but I had a little bit to consume, like some drinks, and you can edit that out if you want. So, cool. And so one of my friends was working at this, volunteering at this, like come donate thing. And I was like, whatever, I'll go do it. Who cares? I don't even know what it's for. So I did it. This was in like 2004, 2005. In 2009, I got a call, and they said, hey, you are a bone marrow match for somebody. Now, for confidentiality, they couldn't tell me who it was, and they can't tell that person who the match is. And I was like, what are you talking about? I said, well, long story short, this person is in a very deadly disease, and you're the best bone marrow match for this person. So anyways, I did the procedure. It wasn't a bone marrow, it was a stem cell, I think. It was still pretty invasive, right? Mm-hmm. And so I did the procedure, and the person, from my understanding at the time, ended up surviving. I don't know who the person was, a stranger. Yeah. And then I got a call again a couple years later saying I was a match for someone else. And this is where it shifted for me. The doctor at the hospital said she had been doing this for 25 years. She said it's very rare to get one match for somebody. She said, you've been a match twice. In 25 years, I've never met anybody that's been a match 2 times. I was like, oh, shoot. Then I got a call again. I was a match 4 times for 4 different people who I never... Now, unfortunately, you can only do the procedure twice before they take you off the registry. That's their protocol. But people were blown away. Like, the doctor was like, how are you a match again? Like, this is very rare air. And I was at a very low point, and I was having a conversation with someone I had hired as a coach who, by the way, he ended up being a joke of a person, and that's a different story. But he did say one thing that shifted my mind, and it was something like, man, you've got superhuman blood that's running through you. Like, run with that. Yeah. And so I just thought, oh my God, maybe I'm this, like, God created me in this incredible image with this gift, and and I got a letter from one of the matches. Again, you can't know who it's from. It was edited and everything, but she had said something like, thank you so much for giving me a chance at another life again, and this and that. And I was just like, holy crap, dude, how many people can actually say that they did that for someone? Now, I'm not saying it in an ego way, but that shifted my mind to think, hey, you know what? Whatever anybody else says about you, is irrelevant. They are taking their perception of you and putting it on you, but that's not who you are. The only reason I would get mad at what they were saying is because I started to believe what they said about me. So then I was like, well, if they're saying bad things about me and I've got other people that are saying good things about me, why am I only believing the bad things? Why not believe the good things? If I don't know what to believe about me already, why not just go towards the people that actually believe in me and see something in me that I don't see in myself?
Yeah, that just goes to show the self-talk, the conversation you have with yourself in your head shapes who you are. Yeah. So screw everyone else, ignore everyone else who's saying anything that doesn't fit with a narrative that you want to fit your identity, and just roll with what you want for yourself.
Well, and it's also, because here's the thing, now coming into today's day, I still have people in my life that look at me and think of me the way they thought of me back then. And now, instead of getting angry about it, first of all, some of those people are no longer in my life because I've chosen to not bring that toxicity into my life. But here's the thing. They're looking at me with the old lenses of what I used to be or who I used to be. They are not seeing me for who I am today and who I'm becoming. So now I'm like, when someone says, oh, you're this and you're a loser or whatever, you know, whatever they want to say, whatever garbage they want to say, that's on them. Yeah. I don't get angry with them anymore because I at least know, yes, do I doubt myself at times? Absolutely. I'm not going to lie and say I never doubt myself. Self-doubt does creep up. But at least when it does creep up, I know that, yes, I acknowledge that the self-doubt is there, but I look at, okay, if I feel I'm not worthy or not good enough or not the best husband or not the best leader or whatever, those thoughts come up when things go wrong, right? They come up, but I immediately just start thinking about, wait a minute, what about all the other people in your life that do believe in you, that see in you what you may not see in yourself in that moment? You know, and I used to say, man, I'm going to prove all these haters wrong. All these people that didn't believe in me, family members that didn't believe in me, I'm going to prove them all wrong. And that I used to run with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I shifted that. And I said, you know what? Instead of trying so hard to want to prove these people wrong and just because they think I'm something I'm not and I want to show them, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm gonna channel my energy towards the people that believe in me, and I want to prove them right. Yeah. It's a different way to look at things. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. This person believes I can accomplish X, Y, Z, which may be bigger than what I see for myself in the moment. And so now I'm like, hey, if they believe in me, I need to prove them right. I want to prove my dad right. My dad and my wife are my biggest cheerleaders. I always want to I don't want to prove the haters wrong. They'll find out on their own way. I still kind of want to prove them wrong just for, you know what I mean? But that's not where my energy is. My energy is if my dad believes in me, if my wife believes in me, I want to prove them right. Yeah. I want my wife to be able to say, hey, I believed in my husband when he didn't have X, Y, Z, and I can proudly say I made the right choice in being with him. Yeah. I want my dad to say, hey, I believed in my son when he was at his low, and now here I am, a proud father, standing watching my son accomplish all the things that he once never thought possible. Yeah. I want to give that gift to my dad. I want to give that to my wife.
Focusing on the negative will always leave you feeling a little empty. Probably like, you know, if you're trying to prove someone wrong who's hating on you, like when you do it, you may not feel that satisfaction because at the end of the day,
they're going to
continue to hate on you. Yeah. But if you're focusing, I really like that. I never thought of it that way because I always think about let's prove someone wrong.
Yeah,
but
we want to.
Yeah, that's natural. But if you shift that and change that energy to proving the people who support you and love you already right, and getting their even more love, support, admiration, I think that's more fulfilling. So I really like that. I want to shift over because we only have a few minutes left. Yeah. So one of the main things that I love about you and I'm grateful to you for is it's because of you that I have a lot of the contacts and like business that I have today. You've without asking for anything in return, connected me with people that's led to multi 6-figure deals and huge opportunities for me. And I know that on the regular basis, you're traveling, you're speaking on stage, you're around billionaires, you're around people with private jets, you're around some very, very interesting individuals. When you're in these spaces, I think the first question is like, do you have a little bit of fear that maybe you don't belong, or how do you kind of fit in? Because like, I mean, these seem like huge people or big deals. How do you navigate that?
So to answer your question, in the beginning, yes, I've had that, like,
Imposter syndrome.
yeah, like, what am I doing here? How can I bring value to these people? It's interesting because the first time I spoke at an event, which was in Austin, for some of the events that I've connected you with too. And I got asked to speak at this event in Austin to talk about our services to a room full of, you know, a bunch of entrepreneurs, realtors and stuff. And I go there. I don't know anybody there except for the guy putting the event on and one other person. Didn't know anybody else, right? And usually when people see me at these events, I'm wearing my turban. Obviously, you and I are the same faith, right? So I was wearing my turban. So only like Punjabi Sikh person there. And hundreds of people in the room. Couple hundred, maybe like 300 people, something like that. Everybody is like way more successful than me. And I walk in and I don't get stage fright. I walk in and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And I remember sitting in the audience and I had not gone up yet. And I was supposed to go up at, you know, I don't know the exact time, but just for sake of conversation, let's say I'm supposed to go up at, you know, 3:30, and I look at the time and it's already 4:30, and the event is supposed to be done by 5, and there's still, you know, several other speakers. So I'm like, oh, we're running behind. And I remember sitting there and I spent my own money to fly out to this. I didn't know what to expect. So I ended up staying at the W Hotel in Austin, which I was there for 8 days. That just the hotel alone was like $3,200, $3,300. I'm like, man, I spent $3,300 plus renting a car, plus flight, plus parking at the hotel. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, I've spent way too much, like money that I didn't have at the time to go to this event. And I remember sitting there, I looked at the time and I'm like, okay, we're running over. I'm nervous as heck. And I'm sitting there and I just start praying. And I'm not praying, God, help me get through this. Help me do a killer presentation. You know what I'm praying? I'm saying, God, please have the organizer text me and say that he can't put me on stage because we're running out of time. Like, I, in my head, justified spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to get there, to only pray that God tells me, or that the organizer tells me that you're not going to speak on stage. Sorry, we're out of time. So I'm sitting there praying, God, give me a sign, please. Like, I'll meet people one-on-one, just, you know, at the event, please. Just have him tell me. Like, I'm sitting there in my seat, and I'm just like, just have him tell me, have him text me. We're running out of time. We can't fit you in. We're really sorry, this and that. Literally, as soon as I got done praying that, my phone goes off. And he texted me, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to tell me that we're running out of time. I open the text, and he says, you're on next. And I'm like, oh my. So I go on stage. Then I'm on stage. I'm sweating bullets. But you can't see it because I also can keep a straight face. I go on stage, my slides tank. I'm not a slides person. My slideshow tanks, and I just internally start panicking. But I just spoke from the heart, shared what we do, shared about our services. Dude, at the end of that, so, like, wealthy people were coming up to me to talk to me, to tell me how great my presentation was. They want to do business with me. And that one event created, I would say, I did the math in January the following year. That one event over the next 12 months brought me almost 87, 88% of my year's income for that whole year came from that one event. Damn. And so again, to go back to your point, yes, I still do get nervous, but not as nervous anymore. But when I'm in these environments, I'm like, dude, these are just regular people. no matter what, whether I flop or not, they're not going to know if I don't show it. So I just make jokes. I share my 7-Eleven story, which you've heard many times. I just make jokes, make people laugh, and I incorporate a little bit about what we do. But at the same token, when I'm meeting these people off stage, I'm not, and I don't know if this is the right way to say it, but I'm not meeting them from a, like, I hold you on a pedestal and, you know, this. I just meet them like they're normal people, like you and I.
Yeah. I think they appreciate that a lot more.
Yeah.
Because like some of the celebrities that we've met, we were at an event and one of the football players walks in, and like all the girls in the room, we were both at this event together in Texas, are all chasing after him, trying to get selfies and stuff. Yeah. And I'm supposed to put a mic on him and get him on stage and get him ready to talk. Yeah. And like you can tell he's fed up with like, he, you know, that's his role. He's a celebrity. He's a famous person, but he's kind of fed up with like people just asking him for stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, hey, what's up, man? Here's the mic for you. Let me know if you need anything else. I'll leave you alone so you have some time before you go on stage. And I could tell like he just looked at me with a little bit of appreciation. Yeah. And like he even said like, oh, thank you. And I could tell like it was because I wasn't like, well, to be honest, I didn't know who he was. I don't really watch football, but like, you know, like I treated him just like a normal human. Yeah. I didn't ask him for a selfie. And that's something that I think they appreciate, right? If you're overbearing and you're in their personal space, they're just a normal human at the end of the day. Yeah. And that's what, you know, a good networker realizes is that one, they're not scared of talking to someone because they're a normal human, but they're also not putting anyone on a pedestal because they realize they're just a normal person. Let me become friends with them, which is something that I've learned from you is let me help someone, let me become friends with them. Business can come later when it comes organically. Yeah. Right? I don't have to shove my business down your throat, which is a mistake that I've made. I'm sure you've made as well. Yeah. Right? It's because, you know, inherently we're thinking about ourselves. But let's think about friendship and connection and helping and building. Mm-hmm. And then business will come. And I think that pays out infinitely more because now you not only have business eventually, but you also have a great friend.
Yeah. I think that's the key is just making friends. So when I'm out and about networking, you know, I mean, I've had people tell me all the time, and here's the interesting thing: I'm not very good at taking
compliments,
because I'm like, I don't know, I just that could also stem from maybe the negative self-talk that I used to have. Mm-hmm. I'm just not good at taking compliments, so when I say things, that's why I preface things like, hey, I hope you know I'm not trying to be egotistical or, you know, yay me or all of that. But I have had people tell me that are in high places in the business world that have, you know, called me a super connector. But it's like, well, I'm just you asked for something. I know somebody that can fulfill the ask that you just have. So let me make the connection. I'm not doing it with the intent of you know, praising me or
paying you or doing business with you or whatever. Yeah.
You know, I'm just doing it because I'm like, dude, you have a need. I got somebody that can fill the need, or I got somebody that knows someone that can fill the need you have. Mm-hmm. Do you want to meet them?
Yeah. And that's very selfless. And you've done that with me multiple times. You'll call me in random times. You're like, hey, I have someone that, you know, you might be able to help here. Let me put you on the phone with them immediately. And that's turned for me into business, into connections, things like that. And I think for you, it turns into like just an infinite loop of leverage. People love, like the way they talk about you is so positive because they're like, oh yeah, he helped me. He gave me this, like not he sold me something or he tried to get me to buy his service or invest in his business. No, he just helped me. That's the biggest thing. Even though they are your clients, your customers, like the first thing they say about you is you're helpful. Mm-hmm. I want to end off by like a point that you made and something that I think we both relate to. When you take a lot of pride in the work that you do, and at the same time you do a really good job at what you do, that's the best marketing and networking that you need because people are going to automatically just want you to be connected with the people they know. Mm. And so instead of focusing on how can I sell or how can I pitch someone my services, when you get on stage, I've noticed you don't even talk about your business for like 90% of your talk. You mention it at the end. You talk about yourself and you talk about your story and you talk about things that allow people to open up to you and see you as a human, as someone they want to be friends with. And I love that so much because when someone connects someone to me, it's because I'm the best at what I do, and I take a lot of pride. When I connect you with someone, or someone connects you with someone, it's that you know that you're going to take care of them, you're going to provide them a great service. So that focus is what leads to success in business, not how can I sell, how can I network, how can I get something out of everyone that I meet.
Yeah, but it's also, no matter what, you're still selling your services, what you do. I'm still selling our services.
Yeah.
And we all want to build big businesses. So it is like, my big thing is I want to build connections with people. And, when we go to a lot of these events, when I'm on stage talking, the reason why I spend a lot of time not really talking about me per se, but just sharing what's, I want people to leave that room saying they got some kind of value from what I said. Mm-hmm. My hope, just like I said on this earlier when I first sat down, is I hope that there's one person out there that can say, hey, what you shared changed the course of my life. So I still do pitch our services, but I'm really focused on bringing value to people. Yeah. I want people to understand that, hey, when you align with me, when you work with me, I will help you become successful. That it's going to happen. But I want to find out what your desires are. How, you may not want to work with me right away, but you might, I might know somebody that you can benefit, that can help you. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm really trying to focus on the other person mm-hmm. and what their needs are. But yeah, I still want them to know what I do. Yeah. We all want people to know what we do, mm-hmm. right? So that whenever there's a need for what we have to offer, they know who to turn to. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's definitely like a byproduct. The success in the business is a byproduct of helping and sharing and giving. Mm-hmm. And that's what I was focused on. Like, you go out of your way to give, you go out of your way to help, to connect people, and it helps your business. Yeah, you want your business to grow, and you do mention your business and you talk about it, but that's not all you're shoving down people's throats, and that's not all you're focused on. And yeah. I love that about you so much, and that's something that I've applied to my own business, where I'd rather be a friend, I'd rather help connect someone, get someone where they need to go, and one day when they're ready, one day when they need me, they'll reach out to me directly because I've helped them. Mm-hmm. So yeah, man, I appreciate your time. We'll do this again. We're out of time for today, but we're going to dive deep next time and get even more granular.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, you,
bro.
man.
I appreciate it.
it.